Attention, students of ICC Class 9 and 10 and Intermediate First Year. Do subscribe to Study with Sudhir YouTube channel where we cover English literature, history, civics, geography, biology and English grammar and many important motivational videos too. Don't forget to click on the bell icon so that you can get regular updates.
Hello and welcome to Study with Sudhir, your digital classroom. We are going to be now doing part 2 of the chapter on water resources. That's part of the ICSE Class 10 syllabus in geography. In part 1, as you would have seen, I hope you have seen, we covered the primitive methods of irrigation that included the inundation canals, the tanks as well as the wells. Okay, now we come to the modern methods की आधुनिक किस तरह के मेथड्स को अपनाया जाता है ताकि पानी की वेस्टेज बिल्कुल कम हो और एक तरह से पानी के हर ड्रॉप का इस्तेमाल किया जाए खास तौर पे कृषि के लिए. So that is what is important. We also read about how irrigation is so important for agriculture. भारत चूंकि एक कृषि प्रधान देश है, उसमें सिंचाई की इतनी जरूरत क्यों पड़ती है, उसका इतना महत्व क्यों है, उसके बारे में भी हमने भाग 1 में देखा. तो मेरी आपसे विनती यह है कि आप भाग 1 पहले देखिए, उसके बाद ही आप भाग 2 में आइए ताकि ये पूरा चैप्टर आपको पूरी तरह से समझ में आ जाए और आप तैयार हो जाए परीक्षा के लिए. तो लेट्स नाउ कम टू द मॉडर्न मेथड्स. ओके, now the modern methods are obviously more reliable because obviously they have been invented more recently, developed more recently, and they ensure that not much water is wasted. Now they provide irrigation whenever needed throughout the year. जैसे हमने देखा कि सिर्फ 4 महीने वर्षा होती है भारत में और बाकी 8 महीने के लिए भी इस 4 महीने में जो पानी प्राप्त होता है उसको एक तरह से सेव करके रखना पड़ता है ताकि उसका इस्तेमाल बाकी 8 महीनों में किया जा सके. ओके, नाउ मॉडर्न मेथड्स में जो यूज किए गए हैं वो काफी आसान है इस्तेमाल करने के लिए भी, ऑपरेट करने के लिए भी, और वे एक लार्जर एरिया को की सिंचाई करते हैं. दैट इज ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट as opposed to say the wells which are not able to irrigate more than 1 to 2 hectares, the modern methods which are used, they can actually irrigate a larger area. So you can also be asked to compare a primitive method with a modern method. So you should be able to list out these kind of advantages and disadvantages of both the different categories, giving examples. Large amounts of water can be pumped up by an electric pump. अभी मॉडर्न मेथड्स में क्या है, पहले तो लार्जली मैनुअली लिया जाता था, कुआं आपने देखा होगा मैनुअली खींचते हैं, लेकिन मॉडर्न मेथड्स में ज्यादातर बिजली का इस्तेमाल किया जाता है ताकि इन अ मोर एफिशिएंट मैनर द वाटर कैन रीच टू अ लार्जर एरिया एंड हेल्प इरिगेट. नाउ इट्स ईदर थ्रू इलेक्ट्रिक पंप. नाउ ट्यूब वेल्स, पहले हम आते हैं ट्यूब वेल्स के बारे में. नाउ ट्यूब वेल्स हैव बीन इंट्रोड्यूस्ड मेनली इन द इंडो गैंजेटिक प्लेन्स व्हिच इज एसेंशियली द नॉर्दर्न इंडियन स्टेट्स ऑफ उत्तर प्रदेश एंड बिहार, वेयर ग्राउंड वाटर इज अवेलेबल इन प्लेंटी बिकॉज ग्राउंड वाटर, जिसका डेफिनेशन परिभाषा हमने पहले भाग में दिया था, आपको खुदाई करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है, आपको जल्दी ही ग्राउंड वाटर यू कैन स्ट्राइक वाटर. ए वेरी डीप bore over 15 meters is dug and water is lifted with the help of a pumping set operated by electricity. A tube well can water a much larger area, about 400 hectares. So you see the difference between a well and a tube well or a bore well. They are definitely better and more reliable during periods of drought when a surface well dries up. कुआं जनरली गर्मी के महीनों में सूख जाता है, लेकिन बोरवेल कैन स्टे प्रोवाइडेड देयर इज एनफ ग्राउंड वाटर. इनफैक्ट यू स्पोक अबाउट द इंडो गैंजेटिक प्लेन्स. इनफैक्ट साउथ के जो प्रदेश हैं, तेलंगाना हो, आंध्र प्रदेश हो, कर्नाटक हो, यहाँ पर भी काफी सारे बोरवेल्स का इस्तेमाल किया जाता है. एंड द बिगेस्ट प्रॉब्लम इज दैट द बोरवेल्स एक्चुअली ड्राई अप after a while. You know, the water is there and then the groundwater level goes down and then they are not able to get the water. So the bore well also fails. So in the same field sometimes the farmers try to dig up more than one bore well and actually end up spending a lot of money. That has been some of the drawbacks in more recent years and we have reported on it quite extensively. Now, even if there is sufficient availability of groundwater in areas, there also needs to be supply of cheap and reliable electricity. That's another problem. For instance, in states like Telangana, etc., now they are saying that they will provide 24/7 electricity. Otherwise, क्या होता था, पहले electricity, बिजली का प्रावधान सिर्फ रात को आता था. तो रात को आने का मतलब क्या है कि किसानों को रात के 1 बजे, 12 बजे, 2 बजे उठ के जाना पड़ता था. जब बिजली आती है, खेत में जाना पड़ता था. and switch on the bore well so that the water can be pumped up and the watering done for the fields. तो ये काफी सारे किसान करते थे क्योंकि बिजली का प्रावधान सिर्फ रात के समय में आता था. ओके, जब बाकी शहर में, बाकी गांव वगैरह में लोड नहीं होता था, then agriculture would be provided the electricity supply in the night. उसमें दूसरे सारे खतरे भी आते थे. Of course, this is not relevant to you, but in the sense that when the farmers would go to the field in the dead of night, in the darkness, they would have snake bites. They'll have insects biting them and stuff like that. So it was seen as relatively unsafe. अभी काफी सारे राज्यों में 24/7 and free power supply has been provided to a lot of farmers, to a lot of agricultural operations, because of which farmers are happy. So there is water available, there is also cheap power available, sometimes free power available, because of which they can take care of their agricultural operations to a large extent. Okay, now the region also must be fertile and productive. This is also important because obviously the groundwater has to be available so that the cost of construction and operation of the tube well may be recovered from the increased farm production. तो जितना खर्चा बोरवेल को डिग करने में, ट्यूबवेल को डिग करने में लगाया हो, बिकॉज काफी खर्चा आता है, उसका एक तरह से भरपाई हो जाए कि if the farmer is able to do well in his farm, produce more, sell more, make more money, then it kind of gets compensated. He is able to kind of take care of the cost which has been incurred in digging that particular bore well. Okay. Now tube wells or bore wells are used extensively in Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Bihar, Haryana, Rajasthan, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, Gujarat, Telangana, Karnataka. These are the states, large number of states, Indo-Gangetic plains, and also a few of the southern states. Now we come to canals, which is the second modern methods which is in prevalence. Okay. Now canals are an effective source of irrigation in areas of low water. Again, these are Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. The digging of canals in rocky and uneven areas is difficult in the areas like the Deccan Plateau, the peninsula, and thus canals are practically absent in the peninsular plateau. यहाँ के जो प्रदेश हैं जहाँ पर काफ़ी सारे एक तरह से रॉकी टेरेन है, वहाँ पर उसके खुदाई करना ज़्यादा मुश्किल हो जाता है, इसलिए यहाँ पर टैंक्स आपको कैनाल्स आपको नहीं मिलते हैं. More than 15 million hectares are irrigated by canals in Uttar Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, and they account for almost half of the canal irrigation. Now, what are the merits of the canal irrigation? They are perennial because canal आप डिग कर देते हैं तो हमेशा के लिए वहाँ पे रहता है और पानी भी इरिगेशन के लिए मिलता है वहाँ पर. दूसरा एडवांटेज है कि कैनाल वाटर इज ऑल्सो रिच इन सेडिमेंट्स, राइट, बिकॉज पानी उसमें जब आएगा, जो नदियों का पानी उस कैनाल्स में आएगा, बिकॉज इट्स डग इन सच ए वे दैट द रिवर वाटर विल एक्चुअली फ्लो इनटू दिस कैनाल्स एंड स्टे देयर, राइट. इट्स स्लाइटली डिफरेंट फ्रॉम द फ्लड वाटर काइंड ऑफ एन अरेंजमेंट व्हिच इज पार्ट ऑफ द प्रिमिटिव मेथड्स. तो कैनाल वाटर विल ऑल्सो ब्रिंग विद इट, विल ऑल्सो कैरी द रिवर वाटर व्हिच इज रिच इन सेडिमेंट्स, lot of minerals. So in that sense the quality of water is considered very good as far as the canals is concerned. Okay, और इसको जब इस पानी का जब इस्तेमाल कृषि के लिए यूज होता है तो ये सारे जो sediments, minerals वगैरह हैं जो खेत में जाते हैं, they actually help in the growth of the crops. It actually adds a lot of positive energy to the agriculture there. And though the initial costs are high, because obviously canal को dig करने के लिए काफ़ी खर्चा आता है, सरकार को लगाना पड़ता है, तो उसके लिए उसके चलते या प्राइवेट में कोई अमीर किसान हो वो करते हैं, तो initial cost is quite high, but ओवरऑल देखा जाए तो उसका फायदा होता है, एंड इट काइंड ऑफ गेट्स कॉम्पनसेटेड ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, बिकॉज इनिशियल खर्चा एक्सपेंडिचर इज क्वाइट ए लॉट कंपेयर टू दी, और उसको रिकवर करने में काफी टाइम लगेगा. तो दीज आर द एडवांटेजेस ऑफ canal irrigation. What are the disadvantages of canal irrigation? Now, unless canals are lined, the canal water seeps into the soil. तो इसमें आता है क्वालिटी ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन. किस तरह का जो कंस्ट्रक्शन का जो किस तरह की क्वालिटी है, कि कहीं खराब सीमेंट यूज किया हो, इंफीरियर क्वालिटी कंस्ट्रक्शन हुआ हो, तो उसके चलते क्या होगा, वो पूरा पानी एक तरह से सीप करते करते खेतों में चला जाएगा. तो दैट कैनाल विल नॉट कैरी मच वाटर, और उससे क्या होगा, बाकी जगहों पे वाटर लॉगिंग होने शुरू हो जाएगी. तो जो बेसिक पर्पस था दैट द वाटर शुड स्टे इन द कैनाल, उसके बजाय दूसरी जगह पे जाके वाटर लॉगिंग होगी. तो द क्वालिटी ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इसलिए बोला जाता है कि एक तरह से पूरी तरह से लाइन किया जाए. ओके, पूरी तरह से लाइन किया जाए तो इस तरह के जो canals we have, in fact I shot this in Karnataka, where there are these canals and good quality canals which kind of ensure that when the water comes as a result of from the rivers, they are able to be stored in them for a longer period of time, and that can be used later for agricultural operations. Large areas of Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh suffer from the problem of ray or salt in the upper layers of the soil and makes large areas unfit for cultivation. तो इस तरह के जो नमक आता है, that kind of is negative for the agricultural operations, and especially this is found in the northern areas, northern states. Marshy areas near canals become breeding grounds for mosquitoes, resulting in widespread malaria. सेम थिंग रिलेटेड टू वाटर लॉगिंग, या किसी तरह का मार्शी, किसी तरह की दलदल काइंड ऑफ थिंग हो, वहां पर काफी सारे मच्छर आते हैं, एंड दैट लीड्स टू diseases like malaria. Now the more efficient ways which has been found, and this has largely been borrowed from countries like Israel, जहां पर पानी की काफी कमी है, काफी किल्लत है, and they have discovered this way of sprinkler and drip irrigation, जहां की हर बूंद का इस्तेमाल किया जाए in a proper way for irrigation. Okay, so we will first look at sprinkler irrigation. Now sprinkler irrigation, it consists of pipelines, spray guns and spray nozzles. So sprinkler is like, you would have seen it kind like this, and there is something called a spray gun. So tuck, it will keep going. So the water will keep going in a 360-degree manner. So there will be one thing in the middle, and the water, and then there will be something what is called a gun. So every time it cuts the water, it will move by another 40 degrees, then it will keep going by another 40-45 degrees, and it will keep going so that the area 360 degrees around that sprinkler will actually get watered. Okay, and every drop will actually contribute to the agricultural operations out there. Understood? So what you need out here is the pipelines to go to that sprinkler, then you need the spray gun, and then you also need the nozzles with which the water can be sprayed. Okay, now the gun will rotate as a circle by using the power of spraying water, and water is less as compared to surface irrigation, because जब हम पानी को बहने देते हैं खेत के अंदर तो काफी सारा पानी जाता है, whereas this kind of the water that every bit of the field receives will be less, but it will be seen as a more efficient way of providing water. Now this may not be ideal, and in fact this is not ideal for crops such as sugarcane and paddy, which needs large amounts of water, as I explained in part 1. भाग 1 में मैंने आपको बताया कि पैडी को और गन्ने के जो खेत हैं उसको काफी सारे पानी की जरूरत पड़ती है, तो इसके लिए surface sprinkler irrigation may not be convenient, may not be appropriate, but sprinkler irrigation is absolutely ideal for say horticultural crops, for other crops which don't need that kind of water as compared to sugarcane and paddy. Okay. And this is ideal for states such as Rajasthan, where the rainfall is less, the irrigation facilities may or may not be well developed, there is inavailability of water. So in states like Rajasthan especially, where the annual rainfall is just about 25 centimeter, in that cases sprinkler irrigation is very, very convenient. Now sometimes it happens, and this is seen as a disadvantage of sprinkler irrigation, that spraying water all over the field may cause the spread of some plant diseases also, and also increase the incidence of pests. That is seen as one of the disadvantages of sprinkler irrigation. So the advantage of course is that it does not involve the loss of any water. पानी की बेकार में इसको जाहिर नहीं जाने देते, seepage नहीं होता है because water is supplied through pipes, and no water is lost due to evaporation because it's not exposed to the sun. So there is minimum wastage, and this is used practice mainly in arid and semi-arid areas. Rajasthan or Haryana का मैंने example दिया, sometimes even in hilly areas. So it depends on the topography of the region, but it's essentially new, but काफी सारे greenhouses में वगैरह में होता है. दूसरा एक और है which is the drip irrigation, which in fact is used a lot in greenhouses, which is very controlled way of providing a particular temperature to the plants. और ये floriculture में काफी इस्तेमाल किया जाता है, रोसेस को, क्रिसैंथेमम्स को, लिलीज को, डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ फ्लावर्स को ग्रो करने के लिए तमिलनाडु में फ्लोरिकल्चर इज अ लॉट, साउथ आंध्र प्रदेश में, कर्नाटका में. सो वहां पर व्हाट यू डू इज दैट इन फैक्ट इफ यू गो ऑन टू द हाईवे एंड इफ यू गो इनटू द रूरल एरियाज, मेनी एरियाज यू विल सी समथिंग लाइक अ ग्रीन टेंट or a white tent, and those are called the greenhouses, in the sense in control. So there is a particular temperature which is ideally put, which is suited for all the flower plants out there, and the method of irrigation which is provided is through drip irrigation. Now, what is drip irrigation and how is it different from sprinkler irrigation? This can also come as a method, and again drip irrigation is a method which has been borrowed from Israel to a large extent. Now, drip irrigation delivers directly to the soil. तो इसमें क्या होता है, जब pipes are provided at the ground surface itself. So just imagine a rose plant. Okay, now there will be this small little pipes which will be put along the entire row of that entire rose plant. Okay, now at every plant there will be a hole. Okay, there will be a hole, small hole, not like a big hole, a small hole through which the water will come for that particular rose plant. Then there will be no holes along the pipe till the next rose plant is there. Then water will be provided to the next plant. So it's a very concentrated way of providing irrigation to each plant, and it is through on the earth surface. Sprinkler irrigation is like a rotating kind of thing. This is through the surface, though आजकल there are sometimes even ऊपर से भी डालते हैं. There are pipes which are constructed over the plant, and the water kind of thing almost like sprays like a jet over each plant. That also is done in some, I have seen it in some greenhouses, some floriculture plants. Now it delivers directly to the soil, leaving stems, leaves and other foliage completely dry. This is in case where the thing is along the soil. It allows every drop of water to make its way to the root zone, which is really the most important part of the entire plant. And it is popular in Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Maharashtra. Okay, so I have given you the example especially of floriculture, and you need to know the difference between drip irrigation and sprinkler irrigation, because both are seen as the most efficient ways of providing irrigation to plants. Okay, now we come to the multi-purpose projects. Now the multi-purpose projects are projects which are used for a variety of purposes, and these are seen as large dams. Of course, the most famous one of them is the Bhakra Nangal Dam. Now the main two advantages of having this multi-purpose projects, which of course cost a lot of money to the national exchequer, is that they can store a large amount of water, they can help in releasing the water at the right time for irrigation to the agricultural operations. They also help in flood control. For instance, a large amount of water can be stored and ensure that water doesn't flow downstream and flood areas downstream. So they help in flood control. Third, they also help in generation of power, electricity. Okay, so three big advantages of this. That's why it's called the multi-purpose projects. And since 1947, India has launched a number of such multi-purpose projects, and I just told you the reason किस कारण से उनको multi-purpose projects कहा जाता है. अभी एक big multi-purpose project is being constructed in Andhra Pradesh called the Polavaram multi-purpose project. तो उसमें एक तरह से environment का भी ध्यान दिया जाता है कि जहाँ पे construct किया जाए ऐसा ना हो कि काफी सारे गांव एक तरह से बह जाएं, because a large amount of area, the back area gets inundated, and what is the cost of that? Now the Polavaram project, for instance, is costing something like 55,000 crore rupees. Just to give you an idea about the amount of money that you need to spend in order to construct a multi-purpose project. But as a result of that, a large amount of area in Andhra Pradesh will actually benefit in terms of water, in terms of flood control, and also obviously for generation of electricity. Now the objectives of the multi-purpose projects which we just mentioned, to store water which can be used for irrigation, to use the water stored behind the dams for the generation of hydroelectricity, to help control floods. These are the three main objectives which I just mentioned. To also provide for drinking water, obviously. Then they can develop raising of fish and recreational centers to help in the pisciculture, and also they can use the canals for navigation. And this we have learnt in the transport ka chapter, where water transport can also use some of these canals as water highways in order to navigate through the water canals. Okay, so ये तो हो गया. इसके साथ साथ जैसे मैंने कहा, भाखरा नंगल, one of the most prominent multi-purpose dams which was constructed way back when Jawaharlal Nehru was Prime Minister, is one of the biggest multi-purpose projects. It's a joint venture of Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan, constructed over the Satluj River. All this you also need as far as the map portion is concerned. So pay attention to all these. And it is named after the two dams built at Bhakra and Nangal. It's why I called Bhakra Nangal Dam. Then there is a huge reservoir of water. The Govind Sagar Lake stores water which is used for different purposes. The canal irrigates cropland in Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan. The main crops are wheat, cotton, sugarcane, pulses and oilseeds. So the others are not required, they are not as part of the thing. You need to know about the Hirakud Dam, which is in Orissa, and it has been constructed over the Mahanadi river. Again, for the controlling of the floods in the catchment area, and also they help distribute water and help the growth of crops, essentially agricultural operations. Now let's come to the water quality. Now this is important. The what is water quality? जब हम water quality की बात करें तो उससे हमारा मतलब क्या है? Water quality essentially refers to the purity of water, कि पानी कितना साफ सुथरा है and how rich it is, in terms of minerals, etc. Now most of our surface waters are polluted. ये तो हमने देखा है, हमारी maximum नदियां are essentially काफी गंदी हैं, polluted हैं, and they are polluted by foreign matters. Our rivers carry industrial waste, municipal waste, residues of chemical fertilizers, because सबको नदियों में रिलीज कर देते हैं तो ऑब्वियसली नदियों का पानी एक तरह से गंदा और पोल्यूटेड हो जाता है, प्रदूषण काफी हो जाता है. इंडस्ट्रीज एंड दे आर अनफिट फॉर ह्यूमन कंजम्पशन. यू कैन नॉट ड्रिंक दैट वाटर एनी मोर. इवन टेकिंग बाथ इज एक्चुअली अ लिटिल रिस्की बिकॉज यू कुड गेट स्किन डिजीजेस. इंडस्ट्रीज आर ऑल्सो रेस्पॉन्सिबल फॉर वाटर पोल्यूशन. द इनडिस्क्रिमिनेट यूज ऑफ केमिकल फर्टिलाइजर्स, पेस्टिसाइड्स, इंसेक्टिसाइड्स जो कि कृषि के लिए यूज किए जाते हैं, उससे भी काफी सारा ग्राउंड वाटर पोल्यूशन हुआ है. क्योंकि अगर ज्यादा पेस्टिसाइड्स और इंसेक्टिसाइड्स और फर्टिलाइजर्स का इस्तेमाल करें कृषि के लिए तो ग्रेजुअली ऑल दैट मिक्स्ड विद द वाटर आल्सो सीप्स इनटू द ग्राउंड वाटर. नाउ सेम ग्राउंड वाटर आल्सो इज गोइंग इनटू योर वेल. सो ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम द ग्राउंड वाटर इज व्हाट इज गेटिंग कंटामिनेटेड. अब समझे, हम वी आर ट्राइंग टू यूज इंसेक्टिसाइड्स टू किल द इंसेक्ट्स, पेस्टिसाइड्स टू किल द पेस्ट, fertilizers to improve the productivity, but all these are essentially at the end of the day chemicals. ये सब chemicals हैं और ये सब chemicals जब पानी के साथ मिलकर मिलावट होने के बाद भूमि के अंदर जाते हैं तो एक तरह से जो पूरा ground water है that also over a period of time gets contaminated. So all this is also leading to groundwater pollution. ओके, नाउ जहां तक नदियों का सवाल है, गंगा इज पोल्यूटेड. देयर इज अ नमामि गंगे प्रोग्राम व्हिच हैज बीन लॉन्च्ड बाय द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया. नॉट एग्जैक्टली very successful because there's a humongous amount of work that needs to be done. Yamuna has been identified as one of the most polluted rivers in the country, which flows from Delhi through Agra. Groundwater is also polluted by toxic metals, fluoride and nitrates at different parts of the country, which is essentially through the industrial sewage which flows into these rivers. Okay, now hum aate hain the last part, which is about what you and I can do as citizens, are expected to do as citizens, and that is to do with the rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting is not the responsibility only of the farmers in order to save the water which they can use for agricultural operations. आपको और मुझे भी जो कि शहरों में रहते हैं, हमारे ऊपर भी एक तरह की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी आती है कि हम बारिश के पानी को सेव करें, इसको स्टोर करें इन ऑर्डर टू बी एबल टू रिचार्ज द ग्राउंड वाटर का स्तर बढ़े, ताकि हमारे घरों में, हमारे अपार्टमेंट्स में भी एक तरह से बोर डिग करना पड़ता है ताकि आपको ड्रिंकिंग वाटर का प्रावधान हो. तो उसके लिए भी अगर ग्राउंड वाटर बहुत ज्यादा नीचे होगा तो आपका बोर को भी बहुत नीचे जाना पड़ेगा, एंड दिस इज ऑलवेज वेरी रिस्की बिकॉज इवन दैट कैन ड्राई अप ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. ओके, कई साल पहले, 20 साल पहले अगर आप 400 फीट पर ग्राउंड वाटर को हिट कर सकते थे, अभी हो सकता है 20 साल में 800 फीट तक जाना पड़े. सो ऑब्वियसली द ग्राउंड वाटर लेवल, द ग्राउंड वाटर टेबल इज ऑल्सो गोइंग डाउन ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ टाइम. नाउ इसमें आपकी बुक में, आपके जो टेक्स्ट बुक है उसमें 3 ऐसे पिक्चर्स दिए गए हैं. तो कभी कभी पिक्चर्स को लेकर भी आपसे प्रश्न पूछा जा सकता है. पहला तो है रिचार्ज थ्रू हैंडपंप, यानी कि पानी का हो और उससे पाइप्स लिया जाए और एक हैंडपंप की सहायता से उस पानी का इस्तेमाल किया जा सके. तो आपकी जो छत है वहां पर रेन वाटर को हार्वेस्ट किया जाए, समझ गए? तो जो बारिश का पानी है उसका इस्तेमाल किया जाए. दैट्स हाउ द वर्ड रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग comes. You generally harvest crops, here you are harvesting रेन वाटर. तो उसका इस्तेमाल हैंडपंप से किया जा सकता है. दूसरा जो फिगर है, रिचार्ज थ्रू एन अबंडेंट डग वेल. तो अगर आपके घर के पास एक कुआं है तो बाहर ऊपर से जो पानी आता है, दैट थ्रू ए पाइप यू कैन लिंक इट टू द वेल, ओके, तो वो पानी आपके कुएं के अंदर जाए तो ऑब्वियसली द कुएं का पानी ऑल्सो विल गो अप, सो दैट द बारिश का पानी डज नॉट गेट वेस्टेड, इट गेट्स हार्वेस्टेड ऑन द टॉप ऑफ योर हाउस ऑन द टेरेस, एंड देन दैट वाटर इज यूज्ड टू गो इनटू द वेल, एंड फ्रॉम द वेल यू कैन यूज इट फॉर ड्रिंकिंग ऑपरेशंस और एनी अदर पर्पस, गार्डनिंग, ड्रिंकिंग, व्हाटएवर बी द पर्पस. The third is through recharge through a trench, where you actually dig a rainwater harvesting pit, जिसमें कि correct amount of soil, stones, etc. are used in order to dig a rainwater this thing. Again, through the same method, the rainwater is sent and linked through this rainwater harvesting pit. So RWH is how it is referred to in the urban areas. आपके म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन, आपके शहर में जितने भी म्यूनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन होंगे वे इस काम पर ज्यादा ध्यान देते हैं. Now, watershed development is an important method to conserve water resources, increase agricultural development, and stop environmental degradation. Tanks, ponds, check dams, and other structures have been constructed for water harvesting. Okay. Now, the shortage of groundwater is felt in the rural areas for irrigation or domestic purposes, and for industrial uses in urban areas, and also for drinking water purposes. And one method to tackle the problem of large-scale water depletion is to capture rainwater, जिसका कि मैंने अभी आपको जिक्र किया, and store it underground to meet household needs. Okay, through these three methods of rainwater harvesting, जिसका कि आप diagram अच्छी तरह से देख लीजिए, समझ लीजिए. Now, the objectives of rainwater harvesting are, this is important, this also can come as a 2-mark or a 3-mark question. To meet the increasing demand of water, logical. To reduce the surface runoff. What is surface runoff? Normally बारिश जब heavy बारिश होती है 15 मिनट के लिए, आधे घंटे के लिए, so you get the thing, road पे आती है, it just flows off, it's waste, right? It just waste. Whereas if it goes into the terrace and through the link that we just spoke about, the water can then be used. It's stored and used. Whereas if it just flows on the road, the whole water is actually going waste, which is called surface runoff. Avoid flooding of roads, same thing. Surface runoff can also refer to any other part apart from roads also. Raise the groundwater level by adding to the groundwater reserves. Okay, to collect the rainwater and store it for future use. Okay. Improve the quality of groundwater, reduce soil erosion, supplement household requirement of water. So rainwater harvesting is not something new to India. It has been around for the last at least 15 years or so. Now, it has been there for since many years, but since the shortage of water is becoming such a large problem, conservation consciousness has to be promoted on a war footing. Doesn't happen to the extent it should happen, but yes, as responsible citizens, all of us need to look at it very, very carefully and with a lot of focus. So this is largely the portion as far as the water resources chapter is concerned. I'm just looking at some of the questions which have come in previous question papers. 2 states, this came in ICSE 2018, it says, names 2 states where rooftop water harvesting is most common, and the states mentioned are Rajasthan and Meghalaya. Okay, rooftop water harvesting. Meghalaya and Rajasthan. So just remember this has come in ICSE 2018 is what this book says. Then there have been questions like, what is water scarcity? Mention any 4 factors responsible for water scarcity. Again, things like over exploitation of water sources, improper management, wastage of water. Then of course, industrialization and urbanization, as a result of which there is a water scarcity, and unequal access of water among different social and cultural groups. So that also happens, factors responsible for the water scarcity, and also the fact that it's very seasonal, so you don't have rainfall, so you don't have a natural access to rainfall through the year. Then you could be asked questions on rainwater harvesting. Very, very important. You need to know that rainwater harvesting is what essentially the definition of what rainwater harvesting. I'll just read it out to you. Please note it. It's a technique of increasing the recharge of groundwater by capturing. It is a technique of increasing the recharge. Mobile recharge करते हैं, इसमें groundwater recharge करते हैं. Okay. So it's a technique of increasing the recharge of groundwater by capturing and storing the rainwater by constructing structures such as percolating pits or check dams. Okay, so this is the essential definition, not very difficult to use. Remember the keywords: recharge, storing, capturing. If you remember these things and give the examples, you should be able to remember this particular definition, and this is used again in different parts of the country, Karnataka and Rajasthan being the more prominent examples. So this is as far as this thing. I would urge you to look at the 10-year board papers. 10 ईयर बोर्ड पेपर्स में जिस तरह के क्वेश्चंस आते हैं मोस्टली दे आर रिपीटेड. सो इफ यू आर एबल टू आंसर ऑल द क्वेश्चंस pertaining to water resources का chapter in the last 10 years का board papers, also look at your pre-board papers, you will be more than comfortable as far as the water resources chapter is concerned. Okay, so I hope Sangeeta Devi, you in particular are happy now that the water resources chapter has been taken care of. Thank you very much for watching.